Hi you guys, I'm Kelly and I'm a barre instructor here in Texas. I wanted to hop on here today and film a quick, I think will be quick, video about how I structured my barre class. I remember my first year always wondering, how am I gonna fill an hour-long class and make sure that this is a complete full body, cohesive workout, that everything gets worked enough, that I'm stretching enough. It was just a lot. And I was talking to a friend the other day who is also a new barre instructor, and she was like, I'm nervous about how to fill an hour. And I actually feel, through trial and error, that I was able to develop kind of a cool formula or format, if you will, for structuring a barre class. And I don't necessarily do this every time anymore, because I feel like I've been teaching barre for 3 years now. So I feel like I've kind of got it now, but at first this really helped me out. It's really, I think, kind of a foolproof structure to follow where it's just easy every class to just swap out exercises. And I'll explain it a little bit more as we get into it. I just wanted to put this idea out there in case there are any new barre instructors that are like, I don't know what exactly to do. I need like a format, like a fill in the blank format. And I feel like this really helped me my first year. So just to give you a quick rundown, I do warm up, abs, upper body, thighs, butt, cardio every class. And that was just my go-to structure for about a year. And I would just switch out the exercises, but every class, warm up, abs, upper body, thighs, butt, cardio, barre. And I could switch it out a little bit, but generally that's what it was. And I'll talk you through each of those and how much time I spent on each of those, because that was probably my biggest question. I was starting out, like, how much time do I spend on each series? And then I'll also kind of talk you through some ideas for exercises that I would do within that. So the inspiration for this structure actually came from Body Pump, because I like that idea that like every track of music in Body Pump is a different body part. And for me, that just made so much sense in my mind, the structure of how they do that. This track is quads, this track is back, this track is shoulders, this track is biceps. And I don't necessarily do that for barre, but I like that they kind of divided it by body part. So that's where the inspiration came from. That's what I started doing. Now, before we get into this, when I tell you how much time I spent on kind of each body part, don't be like, oh my gosh, 10 minutes for abs, that's a lot, that's crazy. Because in barre, usually, personally, I stretch my clients after every part of the workout. So we do abs, we rest for a second and stretch. We do upper body, then we stretch the upper body. Also, barre is very technical, very different in that way, that you kind of have to explain the technique of things before you just jump into it, especially if there's new people. They're gonna be like, I don't have any ballet background, I don't have any Pilates background, like where's the turnout, what does turnout mean, plie, like knees don't go over the toes. There's just a lot of technical things that you have to talk about as a barre instructor. So that takes up time too. I mean, you're not just sitting there lecturing about technique, but I mean, that does take up some of the time. So don't feel like, oh, that's a long time to spend in one section, because you are resting and you are stretching with every single section. So first thing, what I would do is I would divide the class in half. So if it's an hour-long class, I would do 30 minutes on the mat and in the center away from the barre, and I would do the last 30 minutes of class staying at the barre. And so the beginning of class away from the barre, I would do warm-up in the center, go down to the mat and do abs, stand up and do upper body. Head over to the barre where we would do pretty much all the leg stuff and cardio. And so that was really easy for me to just look at the clock and be like, it's the 30-minute mark, we're at the barre now. Okay, so the first part is warm up. This typically takes 5 to 10 minutes. I do it standing up, facing the mirror with my class, usually in front of our mat. And we will start from the top of our body and work our way down. So we'll usually start with neck rolls or something in the neck and shoulders to warm those up. Then we'll go on to upper body, where I'll do a lot of port de bras, a lot of maybe like shoulder circles, windmilling the arms. After that, I will always have them warm up their spine. So it'll be something really simple, like tucking the chin and rolling down to the ground, where they're going through one vertebrae at a time and then coming up. You could do standing cat-cow, flat back forward, anything where you're really warming up the back. I feel like that's forgotten about a lot in warm-up. So that's the upper body. And then I will move on to legs, and we will do plies, of course. We will do squats. We will do elevates. You can do high knees to get your heart rate up, anything like that. So starting from the top of the body, working our way down, and I'll usually do 2 sets, so I'll repeat everything twice through, just doing enough that they're getting warm and not that they're like, oh my gosh, I'm dying, just to start increasing their heart rate and get their muscles moving. So first warm up, 5 to 10 minutes. Second, we do abs, which is also 5 to 10 minutes. And I always divide my abs sections into plank and then anything else I want to do for abs. I always do plank after warm up. If you think about it, when you're doing plank, you're using your upper body, you're using your core, you're using your back, you're using your legs, you're even using your neck, you're using everything. So it's really good as part of warm up. And so after warm up, my class knows we go down to the mat, we do plank for a minute. And usually, let's see, I have abs. Usually I spend a lot of time on abs in my class. I usually spend about 10 minutes. And I will divide it into plank will be 3 to 4 minutes, and then I'll have 6 to 7 minutes to spend on everything else. And usually whatever series for plank that I'm doing that day, I will have them repeat it 2 or 3 times. The first time, not holding it very long, because it, again, is still kind of part of the warm up. Then we'll always stretch in child's pose. We'll go back in for our second or third set. And those second and third sets are longer, and this is where we start to feel the sweat, start to feel the burn. Oh, this is hard. Because warm-up is pretty much over for me at that point, so it's more focusing on the core and strengthening. So for plank, there's a million variations you can do. I almost never have my class just hold a plank. There's plank, and then you can go into downward facing dog, you can drop 1 knee, you can drop 2 knees, you can do push-ups. Okay, so we will have plank, which is 3 to 4 minutes, and then I will have 6 to 7 minutes to flip on over onto our back and do the other typical ab things that you'll do, like crunches and lower abs. And then after we finish abs, I will usually have them pull their knees into their chest and rest, and then we will stretch. Okay, so we had warm up, 5 to 10 minutes, abs, about 10 minutes. So that means we're at the 15-20 minute mark. I have 10 minutes to do upper body, and then I'll be at the halfway mark for my class, and I know I need to move over to the bar. So in my gym, the equipment we have for upper body are weights. We have 1 to 5 pounds in the studio where I teach, and then we have bands. So usually we will do upper body standing up facing the mirror on our mat or in front of our mat. Now when I do upper body, I like to make sure that it's a complete upper body workout. So every upper body series I do, I'm getting biceps, triceps, back, shoulders, and maybe a little bit of chest too. So I'm really making sure that just with this format, that I'm getting it all in kind of one chunk. Now I will usually spend about 5 to 10 minutes on upper body too. And again, that can sound like a long time. Oh, 10 minutes lifting weights. It's really not. It goes by so fast, but also, I mean, you do take a couple minutes to stretch your upper body at the end. But also in bar, you're using such light weights because we're not going for big bulky muscle. We're going for long, lean, toned muscles. So you are gonna use a lighter weight and do more reps, which means just a rep is just like one movement of something. So if you're doing bicep curls, 1 curl is 1 rep. So low weights, high reps. That's what we're going for in bar. And that's gonna help us, again, develop those long, lean muscles and increase your strength and muscular endurance as opposed to seeing how much we can lift. Okay, so that is the 30-minute mark in my class once my class finishes upper body. So we will do warm up 5 to 10 minutes, plank 10 minutes, and upper body 10 minutes. That takes us to the 25-30 minute mark, and we get whatever equipment we're gonna be using at the bar and we head on over. Okay, so the first thing I will usually do with my class at the bar is thighs. It's mostly gonna be plies for me and small plie pulses here, and you can do them with the feet on the ground or on the toes, or things from chair squat in this position. And I'll try to insert clips so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. I know depending on where you get certified for barre, you might call all of these movements different things. So I will typically do the smaller, slower leg work first to start off with. And I will save the bigger thigh movements, like the big squats and lunges and the faster leg things, I will save that for cardio. And then of course we will stretch the thighs. And for this one, I mean, it's a super easy stretch. I'll usually have them grab their foot with their hand and pull their heel towards their bottom, keeping their knees together to stretch out the front of the quad. And if we did inner thigh, they'll put their leg on the bar and stretch over, and that will help stretch out their inner thigh. So about 8 to 10 minutes for this thigh section with the exercises, the rest, and the stretching. Then we will go on to glutes, which is your butt, which is my favorite part of the entire barre class. This will take about 8 to 10 minutes too. For my class for glutes, we will usually either have our elbows resting on the bar or our hands on the bar, and we'll be in a tabletop position, and we'll be doing things from arabesque or attitude or little side lifts. I mean, again, there's a million and one variations you can do to work the glutes, so I won't go into it. But typically we will do glutes standing. Sometimes you can switch it out, bring your mat over to the bar, or just have them go back to their mat if you came up with a cool glute series that is not using the bar and on their mat. I've done that before. But typically we will do glutes standing. If you're going to do this in your class, you need to make sure that you're stretching out their lower back in between sets and telling them to engage their abs to protect their lower spine, because a lot of people, this type of work tends to put a lot of pressure on their lower back. And so we will stretch out our lower back between sets. I'll just have them do a toe touch. That's it. Just roll down through the spine, touch the ground, hold it there for a few seconds, and then we will roll back up and we will do the other leg. And then we'll stretch their butt at the end when we're done working the muscles. And I'm calling this the glute section, but it's really the glute and hamstring section, because usually I combine the two. Like for example, if you're lifting your leg behind you, but you've got the ball behind your knee, you're working your butt and your hamstrings at the same time. And then last but not least, we will usually do cardio, and it will usually be about 8 minutes as well. If we're at the bar and I have them working like one leg at a time, we will usually do the right side, have right hand on the bar, flip around, have left hand on the bar. So it'll be 4 minutes on one side, little rest, 4 minutes on the other side. This is where I will incorporate all the big thigh movements, the big plies with the arms, the lunges, the moving side to side, just everything that incorporates a bigger range of motion to get the heart rate up, to get them sweating, to get them breathing a little bit harder. And we'll do high knees. You can do batmas. We do a lot of batmas, which is, I don't know what you guys would call them, but just where you're kicking your legs around. And I usually try to make this part a little more choreographed because I hate cardio, and I think it makes it a little more fun. It'll be a little more dancey too sometimes. And sometimes I'll incorporate a ball like this, and we'll do like passing from one hand to the other as we plie. I don't know, anything to make it a little more fun. Again, because cardio is not my favorite. And then the last thing we will do when we are burnt out and done is stretching, obviously. This is where we will go into static stretching, which is where you're stretching and you hold it. Because we're warm at this point, we're past warm, we are burnt out, we're done. And typically we will go over to the mat and do stretching, just because I like stretching on the mat better. But I mean, you're at the bar, that is a perfect place to stretch. So if your class is cool with that, I would just stay at the bar and you can stretch. And this is where I'll usually put on the cool down music. And I like to pick maybe slower pop songs that are not workout music. I honestly hate workout music, but it's necessary because you need something that has the continuous beats per minute. And I'll talk about music in a second. Anyways, we'll use the fun, slower pop music for cool down, and then we'll have everyone wipe down their mats and put them away, and that's it. And it's been an hour. So again, just a quick rundown. 30 minutes away from the bar, warm up, abs, upper body. 30 minutes at the bar, thighs, butt and hamstrings, cardio, and then stretching, and then you're done. So there you guys have it. I hope that was helpful. Again, do not feel like you have to do anything that I said. These are really just ideas. If you're a barre instructor and you have like a go-to format that just worked for you, please, I hope maybe you can leave it in the comments and that other people can read it and get inspiration from that in case maybe this doesn't work for them at all. Also, if you guys go to my channel, Coach Kel, and you look at the full-length barre classes that I posted, there's 2 of them, and you'll see the thumbnails are me at the barre. I'm actually in the studio that I teach in. I think I called them total body barre workouts. If you want to see this format in action, go check out those videos. The only thing is I did cut the cardio out of those because I didn't want to post an hour-long barre class. I just left it with all the toning type of stuff, so I cut the cardio out. Okay, so last but not least, let's go into music, and it's going to differ depending on where you got your barre certification. Like some places say you should use this many beats per minute or this, and I played around with that a lot my first year, and I have just found 128 beats per minute from start until stretch really worked for me. There's just so much back and forth with the music when I first started teaching because I didn't just have like a continuous playlist going. It just made my life so much easier when I was like, nope, everything is 128 beats per minute. I just put it on a playlist and go. And I don't have to change anything until we get to cool down and I put on like the fun music. So typically I would just go on Spotify and I'll make a playlist. I'll pull tracks that are 128 beats per minute off of different fitness workout type albums, and I'll put them all in my playlist and I'll just be ready to go. And I always do like fun pop music. Just depending on your class and what they like, if they're an older group, younger group. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Please feel free to try this out. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer them. Have a good day. See ya.